Our story today is about a blanket, a warm red blanket like this one. Can you guess the animals in the story? Look closely and name the animals as soon as you can see them. What's this? It's a fox. Can you say that with me? Fox. Very good. And what's this animal? Look closely and be ready to tell me as soon as you can see. It's where is it? A reindeer. And what's this animal? Look closely and be ready to tell me as soon as you can see. It's you can see already, can't you? It's a mouse. You're right. There's a mouse in the story too. And what else is there in the story? Look closely and tell me as soon as you can see. Are you ready? You can see it already, can't you? It's a rabbit. That's right. Rabbit. And the last animal in the story is one that I'm sure you already know. Are you ready? What's this? It's a... Yes, you're right. It's a bear. You're brilliant. Our story today is about a fox and his blanket. Can you guess what happens in the story? I'd love to hear your ideas. Maybe all the animals told stories under the blanket. Do you think so? Or maybe it's the fox's birthday and the animals gave the fox a blanket. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Do you know what happens in the story? Let's find out. Listen carefully and think about 3 questions. Pay attention now. Number 1, what's the problem? Number 2, who wants to help? Maybe the rabbit, maybe the mouse. And number 3, what happens at the end of the story? Are you ready? Listen and look at the story now. Once upon a time, on a cool November day, Mr. Fox returned home from work. He was very tired. He was ready to lay down in his warm bed. His favorite red blanket, soft and warm, was waiting for him. Soon, he would be having sweet dreams. Mr. Fox, feeling joyful, so happy, opened his door.
"It can't be,"
he said.
"It's gone. My favorite blanket in the entire world. I can't sleep without my blanket. I'll have to find it."
Mr. Fox went to his neighbor's house to ask if they had seen his red blanket. He's going to ask this question.
"Have you seen my red blanket?"
Could you repeat with me?
"Have you seen my red blanket?"
Very good. First, he's going to visit Mr. Reindeer. Come on, let's ask the question all together. Are you ready? He's coming.
Mr. Reindeer, Mr. Reindeer, have you seen my red blanket?
Well, hello, Mr. Fox. I'm so sorry, but I haven't seen your red blanket. I only have my old one. Can you see it? It's over here. Mr. Fox shook his head.
No, that's not mine. I'm very sad. Where could my blanket be?
I can give you a piece of my blanket so you don't get cold tonight.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Reindeer. You are lovely. Sorry for bothering you.
Now he's going to visit Mrs. Mouse. Okay? Be ready to ask her the question.
Mrs. Mouse, have you seen my red blanket?
Oh, darling, I haven't seen your red blanket around here. But if you want, I can give you a piece of my blanket so that you are not sad anymore and you can sleep warm tonight.
Oh, you are very kind, Mrs. Mouse. Good night.
Say good night to Mrs. Mouse.
Very good.
Mr. Fox ran through the woods until he arrived at Mrs. Rabbit's house. Are you ready to ask Mrs. Rabbit? She's coming now.
Mrs. Rabbit, have you seen my red blanket?
Oh, I'm so sorry, my friend. I haven't. She shook her shoulders and looked around. I only have my large downy blanket from my family. I can give you a piece of my blanket so you don't get cold tonight.
Oh, it would be great.
Let's say thank you to Mrs. Rabbit.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Rabbit. Good night.
Walking through the forest, Mr. Fox saw Mr. Bear's cave and decided to look inside. Are you ready to ask Mr. Bear?
Mr. Bear, have you seen my red blanket?
Oh no, Mr. Fox. Have a look if you want.
It's not here. I'm so sad. It was my favorite blanket in the entire world.
Don't be sad, Mr. Fox. I'll give you a piece of my green and warm blanket.
Oh, Mr. Bear, I would do the same for you. Thank you.
Mr. Fox came home and sewed up all the blanket pieces to make a new blanket. It was precious, beautiful, way much more than the red blanket he had lost. Do you want to see it? Yes, I knew that. Do you like it? I love it. Oh, what good friends had Mr. Fox. He was so lucky. And you? Would you do the same for your friends? Would you give them a piece of your favorite blanket so they don't get cold? Of course you would. Now, let's answer together the three questions.